Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Oh, hi. Thank you for saying, "Where's the audio?" Uh, ha! I forgot to unmute myself. And what you missed, this is funny. What you missed was me saying that I feel a little out of sorts today, and that for the first time since I've been doing being a one woman band, doing all the tech stuff, getting the show out there. Today was the first morning, even though it's come after a number of other days where I have to tell you, I mean, like seamlessly, pushing things, moving things, doing all the right stuff. And for some reason today, I was so bewildered and hesitant as if I'd never seen any of this before. And I have no idea where that came from. But a case in point, that while I was telling you that, you weren't hearing a word of it because I forgot one of the things I was supposed to do, which is to unmute myself. And thank God for this chat thing that Cheyenne, you were the first in, and then Milton and Gigi, I mean, saying, "What? No audio. I heard the intro." So at least here we are. But that it just further underscores the fact that yours truly is not quite up to snuff. Is that a correct idiom? Up to whatever. She said, sniffing. Okay, so whatever. Anyway, here we are. We've bumbled into the final show of this week. And I don't know. Guys, I haven't said boo about the fact that the government could shut down this weekend because, well, you would understand why. Because this is a damn one of the Republicans' performance pieces that we're. I don't know about you, but I am so sick of it. I don't even like to acknowledge it. And I feel for the serious minded folk who are still in the halls of Congress, that would be mostly Democrats, who have to, every time the Republicans do this, take us to the brink, they have to take it seriously and work toward somehow keeping our very government open. I was going to say functioning, but that did not seem to be the right verb, considering this Congress that we have. So I realize that there are so many truly what would be in normal times big stories that I, I don't even pay attention to anymore. I and that, I mean, I was thinking, okay, so there's a government shutdown. There's the fact everywhere I look in all of these cases against Donald Trump, not a shutdown, but a slow down in every single one. Um, man, it's like it, I guess it's a lot easier to stall, to dissemble, to tear down, to not move forward in any way than it is to, yeah, actually act, do something, move forward. I don't know. It's just driving me crazy. So, government shutdown, yeah. Trials slowdowns. Other places you look, hand wringing about the election. Third parties is a big talking point today. How a creep like Cornell West, a creep like RFK Jr., a creep like Jill Stein, the creeps of no labels could actually, I got a label for them, that these people could literally put Donald Trump in the White House again. The White House, the big house. Where's he going to end up first? It's scary. Ugh. And then I was thinking, and then of course it always comes back to that vile man, that loathsome man who's living inside all of our heads. And of all, it's like, man, I'm often afflicted, constantly afflicted, in fact, by earworms, songs, jingles that get stuck in my head. And are unwanted, but I can't seem to get rid of them until they're replaced by yet another. But him, him, there's no getting rid of him. And he is the worst earworm in the universe. He is the last person on earth I'd want in my head. He's uninvited. He's unwelcome. And there's no getting rid of the SOB. This small, vile human. Is he human? That I will entertain that question, actually. Okay, let me talk to myself for a second. Cullen, uh, start the show. I mean, enough. I'm venting. I'm okay. Okay, so let's let all of that go for just a second. Let's let all of that go because I need to tell you about something I saw on TV last night. I can't remember what I was watching. And what am I saying? What am I saying? It was an ad, a commercial, I guess is the proper term, a commercial. And it starts with a woman directly saying to us, very, really one to one, you want to know a secret? And you can't help it. See, I mean, this is what Madison Avenue knows how to play us, because you want to know a secret. I mean, right away, you sort of, whether you want to or not, even if you physically don't, in your head, you sort of lean forward. Yeah. And then she says, more than just my armpits stink. I'm sorry for that. That's called dead air. But I, that perhaps you've seen this ad. I'm sure there's many like it out there. More than just my armpits stink was what the woman says. What my reaction is, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you. But as I continued, jaw dropped, mouth agape, to listen to my confidant about her stinky body, I see that what she's selling is something now called, it's a it's a thing that didn't exist. I mean, I think it was called soap, but it's a whole different thing now called whole body deodorant. And guys, all the all the animus and rage I often feel toward our consumer oriented, pick your pockets, economic system. Excuse me for that dead air. Um, you know, these ads, that woman saying you want to know a secret more than just my armpits stink. Um, this is truly harmful to people, especially younger people who are more inclined to listen to such crap. This is capitalism uh, trying to make lots of money, making people insecure, feeding on people's insecurities, feeding on the anxiety that they're producing. And then, of course, after they get people to feel all of a sudden insecure in a way they never even considered feeling insecure. You mean my left knee stinks? Or could? Then, um, how do people? I just don't understand how anybody sleeps at night involved in so much of how people make money. Um, for young people, and I'm thinking of young girls especially, or boys, young people. You know, you're growing up and your body's changing and you're freaking out. And an ad like that, imagine the damage it does. But it's all so they can pick the poor, anxious, insecure soul's pocket to get them to buy an unnecessary, absurd product to cure something that doesn't exist. I, when I was young, a million years ago, I was very insecure as my body changed, insecure, anxious. I mean, it was all new territory. I understood deodorant. I understood that, yeah. And that was it. I was home free until, and I can't remember when I saw it, I saw an ad that suggested that my private parts were in need of tending to. I wonder when they allowed the first, like douche ads up, because I remember thinking, God, I never did that. I'm just walking around with a natural virginal vagina, and they're telling me it stinks. That's what they're telling me. And that is not true. It smells exactly like it's supposed to smell, as does every other part of your body. Oh, but, and then, of course, you get nervous about all kinds. If you look at advertising from how they're attempting to part you with your hard-earned dough, it is inevitably about making you feel like something's wrong with you, making normality appear to be some kind of disease, making your body the enemy. And they make billions. And it's worse than ever, the way they're preying on young girls. If I could have the money, and I was not ever very much into all this kind of crapola, but if I were to have the money that I spent in my life on unnecessary so-called beauty products, or what else are they called? Hygiene products. I don't know, whatever this crap is. If I were to have that money, all the makeup, all the hair stuff, all the purchases made out of absolute nothing more than anxiety that you weren't measuring up. If I could have that money, I'd be, it's unbelievable how much money there'd be. It's unbelievable, especially if I'd invested it. My God, it could be $1 million. I don't know. When I used to ride the bus, I remember I used to sometimes look at some woman who had like the most amazing, like, fingernails and hair and all this stuff, because she was full on doing this eyelashes, the whole bit. And I was thinking, geez, if you just stopped all that nonsense and took the money and invested it, you could be, well, you wouldn't have to be on the bus. Not that there's anything wrong with the bus. We should all be on the bus. But you get my drift. Dear God. Sorry. You want to know a secret? I can't take it much more. I'm starting to lose it. Okay, enough of that. But I just had to share that with you. There is such a cute video making the rounds of the Duquesne Dukes basketball team, now in Omaha and just a few hours away from their game against BYU. And they're all sitting in some room on chairs, and a guy wheels in a trolley of sorts, and it's piled high with boxes. And he starts handing these boxes, shoe boxes, out to the players. And they're from LeBron James. LeBron James sent the Dukes new shoes and wished them all the best. And if you could see the looks on their faces and, you know, looking at the shoes and the smiles and the, disbelief, it was the best thing I saw um, all day, other than the puppy and the baby sleeping together, those things. Um, so I hope they win. I hope they win. I hope they win. I hope they win. I told you that I just found out, because I'm out of it, the link between LeBron and the Dukes, and it's that his high school coach was the coach of the Duquesne Dukes. So that's the connection. Um, oh, wait, you guys are responding to my. You wanna know a secret? Pat, yeah. There's another one. That's right. Is it? I think I saw that once. There's another one, a bigger one that's out there, or maybe it is, because where they actually said, well, here's all Pat sent to me email. She lost me at butt crack. Does she say butt crack in that? Oh, dear God in heaven. There is one that does. I don't know if it's that one. I was, Jesus. And Milton sent, it's Lumi whole body deodorant, and he says it ain't cheap. Of course it's not. No, you up the anxiety level and you up the price for a totally unnecessary product, and they come and they give you their money. Milton says it's $15 for one stick of deodorant. What the hell are you supposed to do? You mean with a stick of deodorant, you're supposed to like rub it all over your damn body? I mean, don't forget to rub it on your nose, because I got news for you. Your nose smells. Oh, Gigi writes, sympathies for having endured that awful commercial. Well, I'll see it again. The news story that made my head explode this morning comes from the Washington Post. It's the article about women, I didn't read it, foregoing birth control because of the wealth of misinformation on TikTok. Wonderful. Wonderful. So we live in a country which has taken away a woman's most basic right, the right to her own body, and now we're going to malign contraception? My head exploded. Wow. Wow. Well, it's the same people. I mean, you see that there's like measles. It is all over the place now. You see the surgeon, I don't know, they call him a surgeon general in Florida, a doctor telling people, nah, no problem. You don't have to get, vaccinated again. Good God in heaven. It'd be one thing if we were just standing still and uh, not progressing as we should, but we're not standing still. We're moving backwards. Big time. I saw an obituary that um, made me think of something, because it was an obit of yet another person who survived the Holocaust. And I guess he ended up becoming like the tailor to presidents and celebrities all over. He was just considered the most extraordinary tailor. And his name was Martin Greenfield. And in looking at his obit, it said that, he was minding his own business, living with his family in a little town in what is now Ukraine. And, the next thing you know, he and his family are put in a cattle car and end up at Auschwitz. And he was 15 years old. He never saw his parents or siblings again. He was the only one in his family who survived. And while he was there, it said, he learned how to sew. And so that skill allowed him to be useful to his evil captors. And I thought, do you know how, like, the folks who talk about the Confederacy as, part of their heritage, the people who proudly wave the stars and bars, the people who spread and continue to misinformation about that war, um, how they are the ones too who they stuck them in history books and taught generations of Americans that slavery was not so bad. In fact, it was really rather helpful for many of these people. I mean, what? They would have been in Africa. I mean, come on. They would have been in Africa, who knows what, living in a hut instead of a shack. And I remember being so stunned when I saw somebody had actually said, you might recall this, that the slaves benefited from their slavery in that learned they learned how to do things. They learned skills so they could serve their masters. And the fact that they learned skills, I mean, they were taken, yes, and then put in a situation where they were housed and fed and learned skills. You got a problem with that? So when I read Martin Greenfield's obituary, I thought, hey, you could say the same thing about, his life. Boy, is that a lucky guy that he got rounded up by those Nazis and stuck in that death camp because he learned a trade there that made him rich and famous and hobnobbing with the world's most powerful people. So let's hear it for the Nazis in Auschwitz. Yay! I'm sorry. What am I apologizing for? I'm not. I'm not sorry. Oh, there was another obit, and I just wanted to note that I had read about this man last week, and I knew he was going to die today, which is odd, knowing. I read an article about a man who was alive, and I knew he was going to die on March 21st, this on Thursday. And that was the whole point of the article, that this man had determined that he wanted control of his last years. And he had Alzheimer's. His, I think, mother had it. He had watched her deterioration, and he had taken some tests, genetic tests, which showed he was, very likely to get it. In fact, he did get it. and he did not want to go like his mom did or his father, I can't remember which one, and he did not want his wife and his children to have to bear it either. So he looked to see if there was some way he could have an assisted suicide here in the United States and was told no. And so he went to Europe. He went to Switzerland, and he had tests done there, and they said, we will help you if this is what you want to do. And he chose this day, and he and his family traveled there. I mean, when I read the article, I thought, wow, wow. I mean, I can you imagine having the courage to do that? Because I think it takes extraordinary courage to do that. And and by all accounts, he was living his life right up until the end. His head was still pretty much intact. He knew his wife and children. He took pleasure in food and everything else. And he died today. Initially, when he made this decision, he made up like a bucket list and said to his wife, "We got to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that." One of the things he wanted to do, which was so weird because I think he lived in, I don't know, Arizona or something, he wanted to go to a Packer game in Green Bay, obviously, at Lambeau Field. And I guess because for some reason he'd been a lifelong Packer fan. Maybe his father or something was from Wisconsin originally. Anyway, he got a big obituary today, and his name was Hal Malchow, and he was a major consultant to a number of Democratic politicians, uh, and is credited, I guess, with a very scientific, bringing a scientific approach to how to run a winning campaign. By the way, his wife talked him into, rather than going to Green Bay and all these other places he had in mind, she said, "Why don't you finish your book?" He was writing a book, and he decided that was a good idea. And so that is what he did instead. Um, and it will be devoured, I'm sure, by people in his business. So I, I just think that's so extraordinarily brave. And I think it's only fitting and proper that people be given that option. And I can assure you that we in America will be some of the last people on earth to ever be given that option, given the fact that we are overrun with crazed fundamentalist, nationalistic idiots who think their religion is the blueprint of how all the rest of us have to live. Their interpretation of their religion. Uh, so the Pittsburgh Public Schools, unanimously, the board voted they're going to sue Allegheny County to force a property tax reassessment. This is the kind of thing that, politicians never, this is the third rail stuff, right? But I got a feeling that this lawsuit probably has a damn good chance. And I just want to let you know I don't know about you, but if they do, I know I'm going to be paying more. I paid my bill not too long ago, and I always chuckle. I do. I it's not. I chuckle at what the county values my house at, because I assure you, it's worth easily twice as much. Now, I also understand that assessment doesn't necessarily, but whatever. Anyway, just telling you, you might not want to buy that full body deodorant and some of that other crap, and instead save your money, because if you live in Allegheny County, who knows, you might need it for an increased tax bill coming to your door. On the other hand, maybe you're a person who actually is under, valued. Um, I mean, overvalued. Excuse me. I don't know. Oh, why do I feel like I'm all over the place today? Maybe because I am. Okay, here's a few other things. That absurd committee in the House. Was that is it the House Oversight Committee? Who is that? Comer and those idiots. How I think it's the House Oversight Committee, right? That is trying to build a case for impeaching Joe Biden, and all they've done is make an exceptionally good case of impeaching all of them for dereliction of duty and not being worth the nice salaries that we, the taxpayers, are paying them, because they're not seeing to our business. They're seeing to kissing the ass of that son of a bitch who's living in our brains. In fact, one of the Democrats on the committee uh, said, I love this quote, when you review the entire record of evidence of these hearings going back over a year, you've actually provided, he said to the Republicans, you've actually provided more evidence to impeach Donald Trump for a third time than you have in so much as laying a glove on Joe Biden. And it's the truth. It's unbelievable, but it doesn't matter, because these Republicans are, as we know, it is simply about the performance and giving stuff for Fox News, which I understand is getting very queasy about this itself. If you're losing Fox News, my God. So there were a lot of crooks testifying. Crooks on the Democrats brought in Lev Parnas, who used to be Rudy Giuliani's, guy, and he's served time already for stuff he did. And then the Republicans, they interviewed a guy who was testifying from jail. It just This is where Trump brings us into a den of lowlives and con artists, grifters, and thieves. Anyway, Parnas, who has now come over to the better side, actually said he named names of people, actually one sitting on the committee, and he named Senator Ron Johnson of my home state of Wisconsin as being parties of doing the Kremlin's work. He said, my original indictment linked me, when he was indicted along with Giuliani and others. He said, my original indictment linked me to an individual referred to as unindicted co-conspirator one. This individual, we now know, is a congressman who sits on this very committee. Pete Sessions. You can't make it up. He also said this, in case you missed it. The American people have been lied to by Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani, and various cohorts of individuals in government and media positions. They created falsehoods to serve their own interests, knowing it would undermine the strength of our nation. You know what's fascinating here is he's giving this testimony at a hearing that is designed to do just that, to create false narratives, give them a sort of a semblance of authority and truth. And he said I was a key participant and a witness to numerous efforts to prove that Joe and Hunter Biden were linked to corruption in Ukraine. Rudy Giuliani, on behalf of then President Trump, tasked me with a mission to travel the globe, finding dirt on the Bidens so that an array of networks could then spread misinformation about them, thus securing the election for Donald Trump. He also made clear that this was all being done with the help of the Kremlin, knowingly done with the help of the Kremlin, and serving both Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin's desires and dreams and hopes. It's amazing. And the fact that he's giving this testimony at a continuation of this very thing he's trying to warn us about, this sham impeachment. Wow. This is the thing about, we're getting just a taste of what it would be like to live in a authoritarian government under one, where truth is decided upon by those in power, and they do it through control of media and the courts and any institutions they can get a hold of. And we're starting to see it. And it's why I think the caller yesterday who said she felt like her head was exploding sometimes. We all feel that, like our heads are exploding. Oh, speaking of just updates on things you guys put into play. Yesterday, a caller said she would love it if Milton would be a guest on the show. And I have to tell you that he has graciously accepted that invitation, and we'll have him on. I'm looking forward to it immensely. We'll have him on after mid-April, and because he's in a business that has to do with tax season stuff, and he will. It's not a business. He actually works for the government, but it's a busy time, so he'll join us later. Also, my email to Clarence trying to ascertain whether he was alive and well yielded nothing. He did not respond or has not yet responded. My sister is a friend of his on Facebook, and she says he's alive from all she can tell, and being himself in that venue. So I'm left to assume he's left. us. And I don't know why, but obviously he's got the right to spend his time however he damn well pleases. So those are the two updates. Another is I have tentatively scheduled an interview next Thursday in a week with Alyssa Wald, who is that woman who puts out this just wonderful Substack. Is that what they're called? Yeah. Of It's called Never Alone, and it's based on the Jewish and Israel issue. And actually shows how valuable Milton is. He's the one who turned me on to her, and he in fact knows her. And she was originally from Pittsburgh. In fact, was bat mitzvahed at Tree of Life. But her writing is just, her advocacy is simply. Oh, Clarence wrote. Yay! Clarence, I am just fine, thanks. I haven't been listening lately. The reason is that I'm usually either not home or sleeping. Sounds weird, but I wake up extremely early, 3 to 3:30 a.m. So there you have it. Proof of life. God, it was getting as big a deal as, like, yeah, the princess. Clarence, thank you. You had me worried. That wasn't just me. I was living with it okay. It's everybody else was freaking out. It's got to be nice to be missed like that. Just saying. So anyway, next Thursday, and in order to have her on, she lives on the West Coast, and she is an extremely busy person, mother of children, putting out this stuff all the time, appearing here, there, and other. So she gave me a window of time where she could do it, but it requires me moving the show. It's too early. 10 a.m. is too early on her end to do it. So I'll remind you of this next week. But next week, I'm going to, just on Thursday, we're going to start the show 2 hours later at noon. So I can have this guest. Okay. And other than that, everything remains the same. Okay. What else? Oh, the when I talked about, Trump doing the delay tactic and it clearly working, there was a piece in, I don't know where, maybe the Washington Post today. Yeah, the Washington Post, and it talks about the Mar-a-Lago documents case that, as you know, is being presided over by a Trump devotee, Judge Eileen Cannon, who, in every way she can possibly help him, she has done. And I've given up. That case, if she has anything to do about it, that case won't be heard until, 2029. I don't know. So the Post did a story about how a number of former federal judges and lawyers who argue in federal court have said they are baffled by an order that she issued this week. And what she did this week is ensure that this trial, his hoarding of classified documents, will not see the light of day anytime soon. And I'm reading some of the quotes from these judges. Good God. And this is why the authoritarian playbook that Trump played from day one when he was in office is to pack the courts with people who will feel beholden to you. Now, not all of the judges he put in these places have sold their souls like this woman, but plenty have. And a guy who was on the federal bench for years and years says this: in my 30 years as a trial judge, I have never seen an order like this. It is just pure bullshit that helps delay the trial. Somebody else, a former federal judge in Massachusetts, said, what she is asking the parties to do is very, very troubling. She's giving credence to arguments that are on their face absurd. She's ignoring a raft of other motions, equally absurd, that are unreasonably delaying the case. And so on and on. So all this crap that Trump's lawyers throw, at the wall, trying to keep things from coming to an actual court appearance, a time of, consequence. She's not jumping at every one, but at enough of them to do what Trump needs her to do. Incredible. Just, oh, God. Okay. The United States has sued Apple, accusing it of maintaining a monopoly. Whoa. I just read that on my Apple phone. I suppose. You want to know how long that will be before that ever gets to a finish line? Good God. We've all unhappily come to know that our wheels of justice, especially when there's money and power involved, turn very, very, very mad slowly. Cheyenne's happy to hear from Clarence. Brooks says, so glad to hear he's alive, and I hope well. Hopefully he'll check in by phone sometime. Well, I got the impression he would not be, but there it is. Okay? There it is. People come and go. Now, I also came across something that I just want. This is not heavy duty, thank God. But I guess now when people get pregnant and stuff, and they're they're thinking, oh, I'm going to have a baby. What do I name the baby? They're like groups they join, or they go on. I don't know. There's all these pregnancy groups, and they bat around names, and they tell each other what they're naming their kids and all this stuff. Oh, now here's the only place where I'd like to go back to the good old days when, I've often said that when I was in television at WTAE, we would all have to go out to Kennywood for WTAE Day at Kennywood and be in some stupid parade. And part of the ordeal, I hated it. I'm sorry, I just hated it. Was we had to sit there and write and do autographs for people. Now that would have been back in the early 80s, probably. And I remember it was just then that I was becoming aware of names deviating from what had been the way they were spelled. So if somebody says, "Oh, I'd like an autograph," and you say, "Well, who am I making it out to?" And they'd say, let's say Kathy. Well, that begs a question, right? And even did back then. Is that with a C or a K? And then you get an answer for that, but then it would also be people, it's Kathee, or something. And it turned out that names that were just, everybody knew how to spell them. It's like Bob. What are you going to do to Bob? Huh? That's Bob. But damn it, people were doing stuff with names, and it became an ordeal. I always prided myself on knowing how to spell stuff. And, other than Bob, there weren't a lot of names that somebody would say to me that I was sure I was spelling correctly. But man, since then, give it up. It is, whoa. So I'm sensitive to this subject because I was not thrilled by the name I was given by my dear parents, as you may know. I didn't like it. If I'd been consulted, I would have said, "You're kidding, right? That is not going to fit who I'm going to be." I had all these names, none of which I liked. I still don't like them. I'm serious. Ida, Lynn, Ninu, all these names are one's more unappealing to me than the other, but that's it. I'm saddled with it. And I wish people would give more thought to what you're doing to a poor innocent child when you name it. You have to consider spelling issues. How every time they give their name, are they going to have to bother saying it 20 times, then spelling it? Are they going to have to, I mean, no one wants to go through that kind of crap. It's bad enough if through no fault of your own, you're giving them like an impossible last name. So keep the first one simple. Anyway, some woman who's in one of these groups posted some of the names that she says people are naming their kids. Now, these people should be rounded up. I can't even pronounce them. I don't even know. Let me see. Can I Naeli Pixie, S. Elslin, Genixis. These are all girls' names. Brexley. Good God. And the E is, EIGH. Trinity. Trinity. Triniteigh. Trinity. Somewhere there's a poor little girl who's gotten. Oh, shit. Shit. I forgot. See, I told you I wasn't doing my which one are you, Clarence? Hello.
Okay, that's me.
Yes. I forgot to
when
look.
When I saw the email, I emailed back and I looked at the clock. I'm like, oh, I can just call.
So anyway, you've been missed. You've been missed, and
that's terrible.
No, it's nice. What do you mean?
They're missing the bad puns or what?
I guess they are.
Yeah. So now I'm going to have to change my whole sleeping schedule just to make Lynn Cullen.
Well, if you get up at 3,
no,
if you get up at 3:30, why the hell can't you, just every once in a while be there from, at 10? 3:30.
Yes, it's really strange. I bought like a pirate hat. Got that letter P on it. And somebody said, "Oh, you're a Pirate fan." I said, "No, I'm not a Pirate fan. I'm an old man. You know, an old man always got to pee." So,
Oh God!
since I said, you know, and I'm sure there's a lot of your listeners anyway that understand that, and I can't go back to sleep, so I just stay up till about 8. Then I'll eat breakfast and take all the pills I have to take, and then I'll end up falling asleep. And well, you're not on like a real schedule. That's what happens. And that's what. And then when I do have when I do have to be somewhere, it's usually, can you get here at like 10:30, or something like that, or 11, and I'm in my car, and I can't call for my car because I'm smart, and stuff like that. So, so it's just been a lot of that.
Okay, no explanations, but I totally understand. Your advancing age, changing your schedule and how your body, wakes you up. 3:30, huh? 3:30 is when I usually end up in the bathroom too, but I go back to sleep.
Yeah, for some reason I don't know what, who knows what it is, but I end up staying up, and I actually probably I started, I used to just sit there and like watch TV or something.
Ugh.
And but now I get up and actually do stuff like wash clothes, do the dishes, whatever. Yeah. So I had to get indoors stuff, and I just got through painting my living room. I think that's why I'm up right now. Is because I got to finish this ceiling.
I was going to say it's almost bedtime.
Yeah. But I'll probably stay up now. It's because I'm so excited that I'm so popular.
Well, you are, buddy. I just wanted you to know, and it is good to hear your voice. And you are under no.
Quick, I know you're. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're under.
Because I want to do a quick thing.
Okay, are you aware, though, by the way, that I'm now running everything? I'm doing the tech. There's nobody at City Paper doing anything. I'm. That's why I didn't see your call. I was on the wrong screen. I'm doing it all. You didn't know?
I'm impressed. That's impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't multitask for anything.
Yeah.
So, just a quick thing on the names, if I may.
Yes,
I'm so popular. I have 2 great nieces. One's now a nephew. She trans. No. There's 2. Well, no, one's a niece who trans, who's now a nephew, and a great niece who trans, who's now a nephew, and one who's like a they. She changed her name. They're all and a sister who changed her name. So it's like they all have name changes, and if you don't see them like every day, you end up using that old name. Did you catch yourself as you say it? Say, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's a whole nother thing with the names. People whose names are changing.
It's called their dead name, right? That's what it's called. Wow.
It's hard to catch on to when you get that many in your family.
So I mean, people who were an aunt to somebody become all of a sudden an uncle. It just occurred to me.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I say I have to start out with a niece who's now a nephew, trans. So and a great niece who's now a nephew.
A great nephew.
There's so many.
Yeah.
There's so many, changes in our family. I said we need to get DNA tests done. I said because we got some kind of gene. You name it, we got it. The theys, the trans, gay, lesbian, you name it, we got it.
Geez, next time you call, you might be Clarissa.
No, what they call me? They call me Clarice. Hello, Clarice.
Clarice.
Because I was like what they call it, metrosexual before metrosexual was
yes.
Cool.
I think that's true. I know that's true. Oh, what a delight hearing your voice, Clarence, and thank you for calling in.
Yeah, you're welcome, and I'll make sure to hold on because I called back like twice. And I'll make sure just to hold on for the since you run everything now.
Well, I do, and I have
everything. Since you do everything.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna now end the show, and I'm going to attempt to end the show. Okay. It may or may not be smooth, Okay? I'm going to mute you to start with. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, now let's see. I got to go back to this thing, and then I got to go back to that thing, and then I got to say it's been fun. I'm thrilled we heard from Clarence. It's been a good week, folks. I've enjoyed it. Enjoy your long weekend, if you have one or not, and I'll be back on Monday.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.